That's right. Welcome in. Welcome back, folks. I got to tell you this morning, this ball game feels bigger than it probably should. It feels bigger than it probably should. So thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. This one's going to be a little different. We got live reports from people in Vegas. I got up early. I checked Twitter, and I got to tell you, there's going to be some hungover Notre Dame fans tonight. It's going to be a long day. I mean, I was seeing pictures this morning of people just ending their night, at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, going to get a couple hours of sleep. It sounds like it's wild, and we're going to have some live reports from the game. So that's beautiful. Let's get in the chats. Welcome, everybody. I see some of the normal crowd. Drunk Vigo, are you drunk? Are you drunk already, man? Early in the day, Vegas style. Daniel Wade, rotate. Thanks for being here. Jaded, regular crowd. Line jumper, Daniel Wade, good to see you in here. Jaded Clay again. Kent said something earlier, resident Ohio State guy. He was the first one to comment. Oh, good to see everybody. So here's the deal, folks. This game feels bigger than it probably feels like it should for a lot of people. It's just the way it is. The build up, whenever Notre Dame rolls into town, it has a way of getting bigger somehow. But the reality is there is a big opportunity. Any chance Notre Dame has to salvage any good things about this season at all, it has to come in a win tonight. It just has to make those end of the season matchups intriguing against Clemson and USC. You have to. All right. So it all starts tonight. Can't undo early September. All you can do is be good now. Be good now. V1 Rotate says he can't wait for Always Irish merch. I'm building out a Shopify store. Shopify has made a partnership deal with YouTube. Once I get the Shopify store built out, I can integrate it into YouTube. So what you could buy and look at will be right on the screen. It's just not the easiest thing for somebody like me to build out one of those full-fledged stores. So I'm taking my time. I'm not releasing it till it's good to go and perfect. I'm not going to halfway do it. So that's coming. Let's get through the introduction, shall we? I don't want to get too far and forget this. And I already see a couple phone calls. Feel free, folks. First off, if you're here, sub. Thumbs up if you're in the chat. Appreciate it. Calls. If you're coming from Vegas, calling from Vegas, put it in the chat. I'll bring you up so you can get in and out and go live your day. Go live your day. All right? Drunk Vigo, I need a t-shirt with your cartoon face on it. I might actually have something for that coming up of me yelling or doing something stupid. There's no idea out of bounds with this merch. I have some good ideas. I'm going to push some boundaries, probably make some people mad, but that's what I'm here for. YouTube, subscribe, like, thumbs up. We got somebody here from Brendan's in Japan. Freaking Japan. Thanks for being here. Good morning or good night, whatever it is to you. What's the time difference in Japan? I don't know, but I know it is in our time. Welcome. That's the beauty of the internet. Connecting with somebody in Japan. That is wonderful. YouTube, subscribe, thumbs up, notifications on Twitter. Search bar, Always Irish Rat, Always Irish Inc. Emails, alwaysirishindy@gmail.com. Audio only. Anywhere you want me, you can get me for the long form stuff. Call in line 312-900-8815. Hit it up, folks. Hit it up. Here's what I want to know from you. Keys to the game. This could be in the chat or on the phones. Keys to this ball game. Or predictions for the ball game. Or confidences and concerns. I want to know what you're worried about, what you feel good about. There's Kent. Good morning, Kent. Look at that shamrock in the chat. Kent's not going to admit it. He's an Irishman deep down. He is. He's going to be a leprechaun for Halloween, go trick-or-treating. He's a closet Notre Dame fan living in Buckeye territory. I know, Kent. It's okay. Your secret's safe with us, man. You can admit that you like Notre Dame. He's going to be a leprechaun for Halloween. Got it all figured out. Brendan, he's in here. Got to get Tobias some touches. Is today the day? Is today the day? People want to know. I also want to know, listen, guys, I realize Notre Dame doesn't exist in a vacuum. What else you want to see this week? What other games are you looking at? Michigan, Indiana. Okay. I think Michigan plays one game this year. It's the last one. It's the last one. It's the only one they play is the last game of the year. I'm looking at their schedule. That's what I see. It's a joke. You know what I got circled when my program ends? I'm going to pour me a stiff one and watch Tennessee and LSU. You look at LSU schedule the next month, hell might be coming to breakfast for the Tiger King down there. All right, Swamp Thing, Tiger King, somebody's coming for him. It could be a rough next month for BK. That's a tough schedule. And if he goes like 2-2 the next month, I'll be pretty impressed. You got TCU, Kansas, interesting ball game if you're into that style of play in that conference. Utah, UCLA is what it is. Ohio State University, a.k.a. I might as well call it Kent University, not Kent State. That's different. Kent University versus Michigan State. That's a game you circled in the summer. Oh, my God, let's look at this game. How's that going to go? Blow out Ohio State? Not even close. Michigan Tucker needs to get it together, bro. All this hype, all this flair, the $95 million, the muscles, the cigars, all the swag. Pull it together a little bit. Pull it together. Phil says Kelly guaranteed red face today. You could book that. You could book that. You know what I think helps Tennessee a lot today? I'm not joking. I think it helps Tennessee that this is an 11 a.m. start. You don't have 12 hours for all the people to drink all day and everything. So I think that 11 o'clock start helps them in that regard. Lawrence, good to see you here, man. Lawrence is usually doing soccer refereeing, running all over, running 20 miles a day doing that. Glad to have you here. What else? Clemson, BC, if that gets you going at all. Bama, A&M. That game had all that heat from the summer with the coaches not getting along and all that. It had all that heat. I feel like some of it's fallen off because Jimbo's an idiot. And the only reason he's filthy rich and has the jobs he has is because he got Jameis. He stumbled into Jameis when he was hot, baby. Like, come on. All right. I know at least one of these calls is coming from Vegas. So let's get in here early. We're going to go 219, I believe, from Vegas. We'll confirm.
Viva Las Vegas, John. We here.
Good morning, man. What's all right? I want to know what the vibe is. How was last night out and about? Notre Dame people to BYU people, what the feel is? Are people excited for the game or just to be there and party? Fill me in, man. What's it like there?
Okay, so I'm going to give you a little update. So we were here on Wednesday. So I'm going to start off from getting here Wednesday. We got here about 9:30 a.m. The whole day, we probably saw maybe 5 to 6 Notre Dame fans. So we're like, man, we must be one of the first ones here. The next day, Thursday, midday, and stuff like that, probably around another 15 Notre Dame fans. And these are the fans are the ones that tell us to sit down in the game. So I started getting worried, like, oh, man, where's all my Notre Dame fanatics at? Where are my crazies at? Then about Thursday night, they're all starting to creep in. And then yesterday, they're in full effect, baby. We are here. Everybody's spirited now. Everybody's getting crazy. Everyone's getting loud. The Notre Dame turning the light sign green was awesome experience. The Notre Dame Leprechaun this year is awesome guy. Awesome, awesome, awesome. He did really cool job of getting everybody fired up. It was a cool moment. The only thing I would add to your old, always annoyed section would be the band did show up, but they had no instruments. So I think if we would have had the instruments and had the fight song playing, that would have been kind of cool. But I think there were some transportation issue things with the band getting there a little late and the instruments and everything. But other than that, it was a great experience for everything. And it's going to be really exciting to see what all the fans are doing today. So we're fired up.
I think I know what they're going to be doing, JD. I think I know. I think it's going to be a lot of drinking. That's what I think people are going to do today, except for the ones that I'm seeing on Twitter. They're just now kind of going to bed. I mean, time is an abstract concept when you're out there in that desert, man. It's easy to get night mixed with day.
Oh yeah, we went drinking last night. Me, Carrie, and had a dinner with Jeremy Akers, Greg Bell, and Larry Moriarty. So that was some stories right there, some old Notre Dame players, and hearing all their stories. And those guys, drinking with them was a classic. And I mean, I got so many stories. And also after that, Jeremy Akers and his wife Angie Akers, we went and hung out with them, and we went out and partied with Reggie Brooks and all those guys. And it was just the experience of a lifetime to meet all these Notre Dame greats and just kind of chill with them and hear their stories. And Jeremy and Andrew are just the coolest and most genuine people, nicest people, we met. Me and Carrie are very excited that we had the opportunity to meet them, and we're going to go meet them at their tailgate today. So I'm telling you, I got about 4 hours of sleep right now. I can't sleep. I'm pacing around the hotel room. I'm so excited. We are on the 26th floor, so I'm not allowed to pace outside on the porch area thing. So, but I'm pacing.
How do you feel about the game, man? Once we get to that point and you're there, I understand you have really good seats for the ball game. What's your top priority? Like, what are you confident in and what are you concerned in for this ball game? We got to get a win. There's no way around it. Any chance to salvage any part of a decent season in any way has to have a win tonight. There is no other way to salvage this in an acceptable manner. Without it tonight, you need it. What are you expecting and wanting to see?
Exactly. And kind of what you said right at the beginning of the show, there's something different about this game and kind of the feeling of it. It does kind of feel like a bowl game, like a big bowl game, even though it's not a bowl game. It's all the environment, everybody, here, and we're like at a different place. I think the crowd is really going to be in it. So I think it's going to be a very loud crowd. I think the biggest thing is the players. We know what a kind of Kelly team comes off of a bye. I always feel like it's kind of sluggish, takes a while to get going. I never really enjoyed us off a bye. I'm really hoping Marcus has them ready like he did at the Ohio State game. We have 2 weeks to prepare for a team that's, not like a top 5 team. So we better have 2 weeks. We better be out here on offense, running, getting everything clicking. Started clicking against North Carolina. Build off of that. The defense has to start getting turnovers, though. We can't just go 3 or 4 games and finally just get a fumble recovery. We need a pick six. We need a big turnover that's right in the game where it takes the team out of its momentum and everything. But
and the other thing with that, JD, is the other thing is with our offense that we feel better about, but we know it's going to be limited all year no matter what. It's going to be somewhat limited in the passing game, especially all year. That puts more pressure on this defense. Notre Dame is dead last in causing turnovers in the whole country. I think we only have 1. And you would think by law of averages that will balance out. But especially when you have an offense that might be challenged, you got to flip that field, make a short field, gain a couple extra possessions. And I'm hoping that we see that trend start to balance out this week.
Yeah. We just got to definitely step on defense because people that are going to play us and don't load the box, they're going to say the way Notre Dame's going to beat us, they're going to have to beat us throwing. So, yes, our run game's great, and I'm glad for it, but I just know they're going to load the box, and we've got to get the ball going. And if it takes us a couple drives, that's why the defense definitely has to step up, try to get them, self a score, and just to keep the offense to get some more opportunities to put some points on the board for sure.
Yeah, it's and you know what? I don't know why. I have some confidence in Pine. I think if they want to stack the box and dare him, if guys are able to get off jumps and get open, he could torch him again like he did North Carolina, threw the ball down the field a little bit. There are going to be opportunities for Pine because BYU knows they got to stop the run first and foremost. Pine's going to have opportunities. Can he connect? It's a big question.
Yes, exactly. And the game, this is a big game, like, and not just for win or loss wise, but just for morale for everybody and for the haters of Notre Dame. Because right now everybody's like, oh, Marcus Freeman, he can't do it. He's all show. Well, we made the commercial early in the year, like the hype video and everything for this, and they're going to have the white jerseys and they're going to do this and that. We come out, we lay an egg or we falter or something today. It's just going to be, it's all going to go downhill. So this game is huge.
Yeah.
Huge. This game is way bigger.
It really is. I mean, for all the reasons you said, but it's so lame, JD. It's like, you say this game's a must win. Like in college, you only have 12 games. So yeah, everyone's a must win. But like within that, this is a must win, a double must win. Like you just got to have it. You got to have it. And the way they prepped for Ohio State in fall camp was adequate. I didn't feel like they were not physically ready to go and all that against Ohio State. That gives me a little encouragement that Marcus knows how to prep for this because they did come ready to play against Ohio State. That gives me a little comfort to think they'll come ready. But I need it early and often tonight. We've been off a half month. Everybody's worked up and we want it. The big question I think we all have, man, is Notre Dame really going to look better than they did against North Carolina? Like, was that just because their defense was bad, or do we actually start to form an identity here and grow? That's my big thing I'm looking at.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I finally, after the North Carolina game, I felt like, we're kind of the Notre Dame of old a little bit, where we take, beating the teams we're supposed to, but then of course we can't just beat somebody by 28 or 35 points. We have to just kind of let them just keep scoring at the end. So me and you have to just keep losing our hair and pacing instead of just like, we're up by 28 and I can just, relax. Nope. So that was kind of reminding me of that. But now I want to see us take the next step and give me this Marcus Freeman team that's just going to show improvement more each game, and we can start putting these teams away.
Yeah, that has to be it. Like we just need to feel that confidence grow, see the level of play increase week to week. I feel like things have stabilized from the early September, the tumultuous nature of everything, how it started, the unfortunate injury at quarterback you had to shift midstream. Like I feel like we've stabilized things, and now we really need to take the next step. Let me tell you this, man, the more this year's gone on, and even some of last year, I think Audric Estime is if he's not already, he's going to become one of the leaders of this ball club. He thinks of things differently in an old school way, is never satisfied with anything. He's obsessed with pushing himself. He's obsessed with being better. He actually delivers on the field. It isn't just talk. I think that is a guy you can rally around that could be a leader of this team moving forward. He is physical. He talks the way I want a leader to talk. How do you feel about him? Feed the man. Feed him.
Oh, yeah. That is an oncoming train coming through, and that's what nobody wants to step in front of that. And that guy's a monster, and everything he says is Notre Dame. That's what us fan bases are. We want hard-nosed, going to go out there, give 100%, and doesn't care who he's playing, what opponent, what the defense looks like. He's just going to run them over. And that's what, as fans, we want the entire team to be like on both sides of the ball. Just a team that just goes out there and says, and he needs to be the leader. I think he'd be just awesome to be put around and, just people to build off of his momentum and energy and everything. But yes, as Notre Dame fans, he's exactly the type of player we want. And we just got to continue to support that guy because you're right. He's that old school mind, and he is all about football and ground and pound.
They asked him, you had a pretty good day against North Carolina. How do you feel about a couple scores, bunch of yards? And the one thing he said was, yeah, but I fumbled going in the end zone and it ruined the day. And I didn't sleep all night because I was so upset about that. You know what that is, JD? I'm going to tell you what that reminds me of. That is a Frank Leahy mindset, where no matter how good you did, if it wasn't perfect, it wasn't good enough. Like from a young guy to have that mindset, not go, oh yeah, thanks, I had a great game, 2 touchdowns, it was awesome. But for him to say, I let the team down, I fumbled, it ruined my day, ruined my night, and I'm obsessed over it. That's Frank Leahy-esque Notre Dame perfection that is needed to make him satisfied. And I love that. I want Notre Dame to have more of that. I really do. I love that delivery.
Exactly. And thank goodness Kelly's gone, because I'm tired of it's just a business trip. Well, he made those players sometimes in the mindset, it's just a business trip. We'll just move on to the next game. No, we need players that get upset like us when we lose. I mean, the fans shouldn't be the ones that are upset getting, mad and frustrated that they're losing or something happens. The players need to be that too, because then that's going to make them want to work harder. And it just shows that they care. And that's the biggest thing. They care and they want to win. That's what we want to support as fans, are people that are just like us, that care for Notre Dame and expect to be great and do whatever it takes.
Yep. And so what's the plan today, man? Tell me, what are you guys going to do all day? Are you going to be able to chill out and relax? Like, does your lady want to go to the pool for the day and relax till tonight? Like, what's the plan today? Are you going to get it going early or what? Or lay low? What are you going to do?
Oh, John, we're getting married in November. She knows me after the 7 years we've been together. And trust me, there's no relaxing on Notre Dame game.
But why can't she relax? Why can't she relax and let you be a lunatic? You go pace around and let her sit by the pool all day. Well, why do you got to bring her down?
Hey, that's why I'm marrying this woman. She's the greatest thing ever. She supports me no matter what. Because after I get off the phone with you, I'm putting out a leprechaun outfit and I'm hitting the strip and I'm going to get this whole town rocking. We're going to get everybody fired up on Notre Dame. I'll be at that fan fest at 1 o'clock. Going around, getting everybody fired up, walking around the tailgate. And then when I go that game and I'm sitting dead center right there with all the BYU fans, I'm going to be sticking out like a sore thumb, and I can't wait for that first touchdown. And I stand up, and you just see a green leprechaun in the middle of all that blue and white.
Oh, that's beautiful, man. Well, I'm glad you're out there. It's good to have a live correspondent, and I've appreciated hearing all of your journey. So have fun today. Be safe. Just don't stress yourself out too much. And I know that's hard coming from me, but you're kind of on vacation. Try and enjoy it the rest of the day. And then what are you going to do if we win? Are you going to hit the strip tonight?
Oh, yeah. And in the leprechaun outfit, drinks will all probably be, on me that night.
Oh, man. Well, I hope we pull it off so you can go out in all your glory in Vegas, my friend. But listen, I know it's early out there. You're a couple hours behind where I am in Chicago. But I really appreciate you calling, and you guys have a great time. Text me or tweet me updates throughout the day.
Will do, brother. Appreciate everything, and go Irish.
Go Irish. I'm telling you, man, that dude loves Notre Dame so much. It even here's how much that guy loves Notre Dame. When I go to town for a tailgate, saw him at the Cal tailgate, I got to tell him, you got to relax a little bit. And that's coming from me. That should tell you all you need to know. That's coming from me, that I have to tell him, it's okay, man. We're going to be all right. Like, that's how you know how worked up he is. I got a 219 coming up next. Another 219. I think that one was 2. You're going to be next. Anybody wants to call, put in the chats. What's your prediction? Let me know. Let's see. Kent, you know that's inappropriate. If Notre Dame wins, I got to have the girls lined up for the guys. This is a Catholic institution. Okay, Kent? People are going to go drink, I'm sure. I retweeted this morning, Father Jenkins, Notre Dame's president, mass at 10 o'clock in Vegas. Anybody you plan on sinning, why don't you flip it and get ahead of it? Get in there in that mass and apologize for what's going to happen rather than what you already did. Reverse Catholic guilt. I just invented it. Reverse Catholic guilt. Get ahead of the problems. Go ahead. Get out of them. Ooh, Brendan. Look at this. Brendan, cordial. I'm going to tell you what, 45-17, that's not a very cordial result for BYU, is it? Woo! I like that bravado. I really do. Brian Crawdaddy, we got to go Vols in here. Hey, listen, anything that stresses out Brian Kelly is good for my life. And I mean that. I mean that 100%. The stress that guy has caused me, Brian Kelly, when I die and it says, what did John die from? It's going to say, Brian Kelly. Kidding me? Any stress that guy has is good, okay? For what he did to me the last decade plus, that's what it's going to say. John Kennedy, cause of death, Brian Kelly. That's it. Over a decade. Who knows the damage the man's done to my heart and my brain? Jeezy, for Pete's sake. What else? Got a couple calls. We're going to go back 219 and then 310. You're the next two up. Thumbs up in the chat. Anybody want to jump the queue? Donate $1 or something. You'll jump the line. Thumbs up if you're in here. It helps. I'm going to hit some of these I highlighted on the first call. Then we're back to the call bank. JD can't sleep. Too excited for the game. Are you pacing yet? Trying not to pace on the hotel balcony, 26 floors up. I believe that's JD we just got done talking to. I could see him pacing on the balcony, 26 floors back and forth. People are going to think they got a jumper or something going on. Here's a good one. Line jumper. Breaking news, John. Landed an NIL deal with GlaxoSmith blood pressure meds. I'm telling you what. Notre Dame football, I'm convinced it's taken decades off my life, and the quality of life has been reduced for what I do have left. All it's going to take is win something again one time, and it'll rejuvenate my soul that I'll be able to make it probably however long it is till I croak out live on the air. Give me one. Just give me one piece of happiness, please. Kent, I agree with you. Kent says, boy, that BYU quarterback looked nice. He does. Jarrett, hey, Kent, that's the one thing I said they're best at, the passing game. That's what they are best at. That's their bread and butter. Jaron Hall, Kent, thanks for bringing it up. 70% completion rate so far. 13th ranked most accurate deep passer so far. Got some wide receiver weapons, had some out with injury that are coming back. I don't know, folks. That's what they're good at. But if you bottle up the run, put him in third and long all day, is he going to be able to burn you repeatedly enough to win? That's my roadmap. You don't let this team run at all, and they haven't been able to really against anybody else. And then you force the kid into third and long, dial up the pressure, and trust that your back end can hold up. That's how I see this going. I really do. So, yeah, this guy looks nice. And it's like, here we go again with the Notre Dame quarterback dynamic. They look at BYU. This is BYU, not Ohio State, not Alabama, not any Clemson and Georgia, any of these highfalutin recruiting places. BYU. Quarterback goes into the league. What do you have replace it? Another good quarterback that can play right away, throwing the ball all over, 70% completions. And meanwhile, Notre Dame acts like having a passing game is so beyond them that you're an idiot for even asking. That's how I feel sometimes, that it's so absurd to think of Notre Dame having a real life passing attack. I'm out of bounds just for asking for one. That's how far away we are. I can't have it. And I know Chancey Stuckey's doing his best. That guy's got a lot of teaching and a lot of recruiting to do. That guy inherited the toughest job on this new staff. In the short-term era, in the beginning of this era, toughest job on the staff. He's got to redo all of that wide receiver room, not just depth. Teach young guys. You're going to have to play freshmen next year. You're going to have to. And I think some of them are good enough to. But it's a big job. So God bless Chancey Stuckey. There's a chance he's going to have no hair after trying to get the production out of this room. And then, folks, we got a lot of people that are agreeing and disagreeing here on the uniforms. A lot of these people like the uniforms. A lot of people don't like the uniforms. You know what I say. You know what I'm going to say. I don't care what the uniforms look like in one of these games as long as you win. I don't care. You could pull out your Yankee uniforms. I don't care what you do as long as you win. I don't. And it's like, and I realize that a lot of people have a big opinion on those jerseys and the Shamrock. And what do you think? It's one game. The kids like it. I don't care. I don't care. Win the game, and I will like everything you wear. A pink skirt, I don't care. Win the football game. Win the football game. I do think, however, of all the Shamrock, the white and gold's pretty neutral to me. It isn't like gaudy because it's white and gold, kind of slick white. Like, I'm fine with it. Just win. Win the damn game. What else do we have here? What did I hit? I'm opening up a program on accident. All right, back to the phone lines for a minute. Keep the chats coming. 219, you're on the line.
Morning, John. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Is it going to be a long day for you waiting to see what's coming to us in the fabulous Las Vegas skyline tonight, or where are you at today? How's your mind frame?
I'm at home here in Highland, Indiana. So I'm just going to be watching football today. I'll be hopefully watching Tennessee beat Swamp Thing, as you call him, today.
I'm telling you, that guy's got a rough month ahead. He's got a rough schedule coming at him. It's the meat of that, SEC schedule. And I think he was lucky to get away with the win against Auburn. But yeah, that should be a good ball game, and it's starting early, so we can watch all of it and not have it interfere with our game, which is good. I'm excited for that.
Absolutely. Yeah, like you said, he should have lost to Auburn, and I wanted to talk about one of your calls earlier in the week. Yes, with him coaching, we probably beat Marshall, but his recruiting wasn't going to change, and his approach in big games wasn't going to change. So I'd rather take my chances with Marcus Freeman having a better roster, because he'll go out and recruit every aisle, not just down a different aisle.
Yep.
And
the
wide receiver room. Go ahead.
I totally agree with you. And that was my honest answer to that question is, John, would we have lost Marshall if Kelly was it? No. Kelly got good at finding a way to win those games ugly, a la Ball State, a la Toledo, at home, hot September, blah, blah, blah. Kelly found a way to win those, but you are 100% correct. We have enough body of evidence to know nothing on the backside was ever going to get done if he didn't change a lot of things, and he was not ever going to. So I'm with you. I would rather have short-term pain now for possible big-time gain later, when now, if it was Kelly, there's no gain later. There's no light at the end of that tunnel, man. There wasn't.
No, and the LSU fans are going to come to realize that soon, if they haven't realized it already, that he's not going to get them likely to an SEC championship game, even let alone a national championship.
Yeah, I'm just, oh God, that guy's taking years off my life. All right, let's get back to us here. I don't want to worry about that Swamp Thing. What's your primary thought process going into this game? What are the biggest keys for you? What are the indicators you're looking at early that let you know the bye week was used wisely and that we're ready to go? What are you really looking to see, especially early on tonight?
Well, if they're going to stack the box against us, you got to let Pine throw the ball down the field some. I'm hoping that we finally will use Tobias Merriweather more. Get him out there. Get him in the offense. We can't just have Styles and Mayer and the backs be the ones we throw to. We got to spread the ball around. Get him out there. Use his ability, especially when you have, unfortunately, we had some guys in recruiting who are looking at other places still. We need these receivers to know, hey, that they're going to have a chance to play early and have the ball thrown to them.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. That's actually one of I did a list for USA Today of the top things I was looking for, and number 3 was you're going to have to expand that passing game. What you did against North Carolina was a starting point, because it was further along than we had been in any other game so far up till that point. That is a starting point. Now you had a half a month. I need to see you kind of add to that. I need to see you add some wrinkles and stretch this more. You're going to need it to win these games the rest of the year. So I totally agree with you. But do you think the engine's going to be a power running game if you can, and see how much they stack and then adjust off that?
Yeah. Because the running game has looked a lot better these last 2 games, especially Estime.
Yeah, he looks great. He's physical, man. He's physical. He runs downhill. It's not Bettis, but it reminds me of Bettis. I don't think anything's going to be him again, but it reminds me of him. It feels like it when he's running downhill on people.
Well, and like you said in the game 2 weeks ago, what you called the BSPN network missed our biggest touchdown play of the season.
Isn't that perfect, man? We waited all year. When are we going to see this passing game open up? Our best pass of the year right down the middle of the field for a touchdown. Wasn't even on the air. Like, isn't that the most perfect thing to show our September? Nothing goes our way, man.
Yeah, gotta love the old BSPN, as you call them.
I'm just not a fan, man. Listen, somebody put in the chats, who exactly do we expect to be getting open down the field? I guess that's a fair question. Styles, and then I need somebody else other than the tight ends and the running backs. I already know those guys can do that, but I need somebody else, man. Give me one more guy so it isn't Styles or nothing. Like, beggars can't be choosers, I get. But, I mean, do we see Merriweather? Is this a week Lindsey gets behind a defense and catches a deep ball? I need to see a spark from somewhere else in that wide receiver room. I need to see it.
Absolutely. When's the next game you're going to be at, John?
Stanford next week, and then Clemson after that.
I'll be at the Stanford game next week. Is there any way I can meet you?
Yep. I'll get your number off the call-in software program, and then I will text you, and then we'll meet up at some point. I got a bunch of little things to do and running around to do, and I'll make sure I text you ahead of time, and we'll connect.
Okay, where were you at for the Cal game? Where was your location?
So I was at the Players Club tailgate most of the day. So it was picture, if you're looking at the Touchdown Jesus mosaic, it was in the quad behind it, right on the backside of it. They had a big area like blocked off. But that won't be for Stanford. Okay. I'll kind of be on the move for that. I got a bunch of different things to hit.
Okay.
Are you going to be back for Clemson? Yeah. Clemson's the one where I'm going to be hooked up with a big mega tailgate. That's going to be the fun one where I'll have a tailgate set up to tell people, look for the flag. You know, I got a huge flag. You can't miss it, and everybody gather. So that would be a good one too.
Oh, I'll be at that game. I'll be at every home game this year. So
beautiful. That will be a really good one because I'll be set up all day, and it'll be easy to find one spot. So that'll be good. Let me ask you this. We look at this offense a lot because it's the biggest red flag I see on the team right now in the program. What about defensively out of the bye? Do you have any concerns of sloppiness or, you know, a bad tackling? You've been off a week out of your routine. Can we create some more turnovers and some havoc? What do you want to see out of that side of the ball?
Well, I'll see us not give up the big pass plays like we did against North Carolina. We gave up two big ones in that game. I mean, one was, right after the fumble, which if we would have scored a touchdown on that, I mean, you could have seen maybe North Carolina put in their backups and just calling it a day after that point. But we gave up two long pass plays. We can't afford to do that. Yeah. Would be also great if we could start forcing some turnovers.
You're going to have to. When you have an offense that I suspect is going to struggle to pile up, drives this year, I just think you're going to need it. And the law of averages said it'll probably balance out just by random. It's bizarre to me that Notre Dame's defense is this functional and decent, but dead last in causing turnovers. That doesn't make sense to me. I don't know whether that's bad luck. No, just no luck. I don't know if that is like physically things they're not doing. I don't know, but I need it to switch and we'll all feel a lot better if we get a couple tonight. How concerned are you about their quarterback? 70% completion rate, best part of their team, 13th most accurate deep passer, rising NFL guy getting looks. What do you do to slow him down?
We need to definitely get some pressure on him. I mean, we've also struggled with, I don't know how much he runs, but keeping them from running away the Cal quarterback got a few big runs on us, especially on third down. We can't let that happen. And with us giving up big plays in the passing game, of course, it's definitely a concern.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. It just got weird late in that game. 14-point swing shouldn't even have been as close as it was. The good thing is, unlike some of the offensive issues, I feel like an issue like that is more easily rectifiable in a bye week. Like settling down, looking at where you need to be, a miscommunication. Like that problem to me is a lot easier to solve than we don't have any wide receivers. like these problems are not equal. You know, that one's a lot easier to solve. It isn't going to be these, 3 6'4" athletic receivers walk in the door tonight. So I have more confidence defensively they'll be able to work it out. I'm going to tell you my biggest thing tonight, man. If Notre Dame does not rack up gaudy rushing numbers, I'm going to be kind of upset. I expect that tonight. Like, you got to be able to run the ball. Utah State did it on them. Wyoming did it on them. You're telling me we can't? I need that to be where things start and then move off it as you need to and want to.
We need Harry's boys to get after it today.
Yep, and they had an extra week. If anybody's banged up, feeling better, your energy up, you should have fresh legs. Like, I bet you Estime salivating. I think they're going to feed him, and I can't wait to see it.
Well, and the fact that he said he lost sleep over the fumble, from my standpoint, that's good because it shows how passionate he is and how much he really cares, too.
I love it. I love it. He could have taken that question and said, yeah, I had 2 touchdowns, got a lot of touches. It was a great day. And he didn't. He said, I fumbled in the end zone. Unacceptable. Ruined my night. I got no sleep. That kind of accountability and leadership matters. And you need that in the locker room. He's got a little edge to him. He was chirping a little bit about Notre Dame having more raw talent than BYU earlier in the week. He was chirping about that. Like, I like it. I think Notre Dame needs a personality like that. And he's performing on the field. That's the other thing. You aren't a leader to me if you run your mouth about leadership, but you're not playing well. I need my leaders to talk well and back it up with their play. A lot of guys don't do that. This guy does. He's built different, and I love him, and I think he could be a leader moving forward.
What's also helped with that, forgive me for bringing this part up too, that coming off of a bye week, we come out a lot more ready to play than we did under Swamp Thing over the years on the bye week.
Yeah, and I think this is something I would usually be very nervous about. But the fact that it seems that Freeman Adam adequately prepared in fall camp to go and play Ohio State, like I don't think any of that prep work is the reason that we lost that game. That gives me confidence.
Agreed.
He has a good feel of how to use those 2 weeks. But you could mess it up, man. You could be too physical. You could be not physical enough. There are little things you could knock yourself out of rhythm with if you're not handling it right. But I need a fast start. You can't get off to a slow start. Okay, you just can't. Not out here. It's going to be a heavy pro Notre Dame crowd, I suspect. Get off to a good start. We're ready to see Notre Dame again, and we want to cheer, and we want to be in a good mood.
Absolutely, and I'll ask if you agree on this. Assuming we win the toss, I still say let's defer.
Yep. I always want to defer. Get your defense out there, the best unit you have that's been supporting the program for 5 years, and count on yourself to get a stop, even if it isn't a 3 and out. Get a stop, get the ball back, and then it's just a free possession. Play good defense, get off the field. I always like doing that. I would always defer, but that's just me.
I do too, because I like getting the ball to start the second half.
Me too. It's a free bonus possession to either grow a lead or catch up is how I look at it. It's free. Early in the game, here's the other way I look at this. Why? I do. A lot of times these offenses, they script their first drive. They're easing into the ball game, kind of testing some things to see what's available. I like going on defense first for that reason. I just get it out of the way. I always think that way. I felt like Kelly ended up with the ball every single game first. Didn't you?
It seemed like it, yeah.
I think he took the ball all the time, and then we would go throwing out 3 and out, but it'd be like, yeah, we want it. We're going to take the ball and score, and then it's 3 and out. And I'm like, oh, okay. Glad you did that.
Yeah, he and Charlie Weiss always took the ball too.
Well, that's because he had a decided schematic advantage. So I understand why Charlie wanted to do it, obviously,
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh God. So what do you think tonight overall? What's your prediction here? Where do you think this is headed?
I'll say we win by within a score, a 3 to 7 point win.
Ooh, that's too close for me. What do you think? Low scoring, medium scoring in the 20s, or do we get up into the mid upper 30s? Where's our range here?
I'll say in the 20s.
Okay, man, I hope we could score more than that on these guys. I really do. Man,
I do too.
Oh, I do. Like, I want to hold them low in the 20s. I'm fine with that. Yeah, I don't know, man, but it builds you a bridge. If you find a way to get this game, even if it's by 1 point, you should roll over Stanford. You have UNLV. I think we can take care of Syracuse in that weird dome, and it sets you up for probably undefeated Clemson on November 5th.
I want Clemson to be undefeated coming into our stadium.
Me too. It's the best possible scenario. Either way that game goes for us. Think about it. If they're undefeated, you have a chance to do something big, even in a year where you're kind of already out of it. And if you lose, you lost to an undefeated, probably playoff team, and nobody's going to kill you for that. Is that how you see it? That's how I see it.
Yes, and I'll even go another step too. I hope USC is undefeated when we face them.
Man, I get that as well. It's just harder for me to want to see that team win all their games than Clemson before us. And if USC's undefeated, that means they're going to be ranked what? 1, 2, or 3, and it'll be the last game of the year. That's going to be huge if that ends up being what it is.
I'm with you. I don't love USC either, but I very much like USC a lot better than Michigan.
Well, that ain't even close. And I have a lot of Notre Dame people that push back on me on that. How can you hate Michigan more? I don't know if it's geographical, since I'm a Chicago area guy, that I'm in the Midwest thing. So Michigan's always hit closer to home. But I've always had more direct animosity towards Michigan than USC. And a part of the reason is I don't even think the USC people, most of them, I don't even consider diehard football fans that I take seriously anyways. It's fair weather stuff. At least the Michigan people are in it all the time. So Michigan's always been a bigger one to me. Always.
Well, and like you said, their only game all year they play is Ohio State, which you figure Ohio State will beat them, I'm sure, right?
By a lot. Not by a lot, but I figured this year they'll beat them. I think last year was a little anomaly. But if Michigan keeps winning, how do you gauge that momentum? They're going to have a lot of momentum because they keep winning and playing nobody. So, they're going to feel good.
Boy, oh boy, that's not good for us.
I'm just telling you, that's the way it is.
No, I agree with you.
I don't know. Well, it's frustrating. Look at Michigan State. I thought they were going to be a lot tougher than they are. It seems like they're having a down year. Like, I don't know, man. It's Ohio State, Michigan, I think, are on that collision course at the end of the year again.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, because I don't think Penn State's as good as their record says they are.
I think they're always a little inflated. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. I don't believe in their coach as much as some people do. Maybe it's just me and I have a problem. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and it's sickening that you have to listen to Herb Street and Dez talk the whole year about Michigan and Ohio State being unbeaten too.
Yeah, it's right up their wheelhouse. And but that one division of the Big Ten's an absolute joke. I would like to see them do away with these divisions, probably for all conferences. Do away with them. And then when you end up getting to the conference championship week, you just take the two best teams that have played a round robin of the entire conference, kind of like the Big 12 move to, and then you're going to have that. I don't know, but there's a lot of unbalance.
I would agree.
Oh, so I don't know, man. What else are you looking for today? Brian Kelly knock off Tennessee, or does Tennessee get him?
I'm sure pulling for Tennessee, and I think Tennessee does get him.
So do I.
So, like you said,
yeah, so do I. I hope.
Auburn should have beat them last week.
Was that not the most Brian Kelly-ish game of all time? Like struggle, and it's stressful, and you're down, and then it's ugly, and then the other team makes it, and then he came back and won it, and then people are just going to move on. It felt very Brian Kelly-ish. Very Brian Kelly-ish.
Yeah. Well, and the interception that Auburn threw late in the game in the red zone, that made no sense, that play.
Yep. No, it's bad. And Auburn's going to be in the market for a new coach here any minute as well. I mean, it's the end is near for that guy. So I don't know, man. I'm optimistic about tonight, and that's causing me anxiety. I am fully prepared for us to come out and play good, solid football. And I don't know if I'm setting myself up for misery or not, but I really think it's feasible.
I think we can. I mean, having the 2 weeks of preparation, I want to see this team come out and be physical, get after it, not see us fall behind 7-0 early in the game.
Yep, that physicality. Listen, the offensive line, I'll give them credit. I don't know why. I mean, I know Patterson was injured early, but I don't know why it's taken so long to gel. But I will give them credit. It looks like they're coming together a lot more. And again, with Pine, that's the best thing you could do to help that guy the rest of the year, is be able to run that dang ball and protect him, and so that the world slows down for the guy back there a little bit. And I need that to continue and get better week to week.
Well, and they got better with the passing game in the Carolina game after the first series, because I'm sure you remember in the first series, he had 2 passes batted down. You got to move him around.
Yeah, no, you have to move him around. And I think they learned that. The one thing you got to watch out for is you want to move him around. I also can't have Drew Pine taking a bunch of hits, because then you're with Angeli and he has no experience. Like, you also have to be careful about that. But you also have to win these games.
Agreed.
It's a really rough spot to be in, man, when you're already on your backup week 2. You can't get him killed.
You're absolutely right.
It's tough, man. It's a tough dynamic. It's stressful. And that's the other thing people are talking about. Not necessarily BYU, but Stanford and UNLV. You might have to get Angeli time, because he's the backup and he hasn't played at all. They are going to have to find time to get him a couple plays at some point.
Yes. Hopefully we can be in a big dominating win one of these next few games to let him get out there and play some.
Yeah, you're going to need to, and the next 2 weeks should provide you an opportunity, I think. But you're just going to have to do that. Do you think that Merriweather, we see the field, we see a couple balls, we're all wondering why we don't see him? Do you think we're going to see that? If you were going to do it out of the bye, would have been it, right?
I sure want to see him. I sure want to.
You just need a spark. You don't
you
have a
said.
spark. You need a spark. You're not getting a production. You need a spark. Somebody to take a little attention off Styles, the one guy you do kind of trust out of that group. I'm just looking for a little spark. I don't need him to be perfect.
Absolutely. I mean, kind of like I think you said a few weeks back, was just, even if you just throw the ball deep to him twice in the game, at least try.
Right. Like at least show you're not scared to do that. Show that secondary can't creep up. And then, you know what? You might be surprised. He might actually catch one. Go imagine.
Well, and you also figure most of the guys who guard him are not as tall as him. So throw the ball, let him use his athleticism and go get it.
I don't understand how they had Braden Lindsay going up for a jump ball. The guy's my size, 5'9", 5'10", and you have a 6'5" big body guy that's fast, that's on the sideline. I don't understand that. But I'm told, I'm not a coach. I don't know what goes into it. The guy's not ready. Traits, I hear all that. I'm just frustrated when I see a wide receiving core not making enough plays. And I'm just simply asking for a spark any way I can get it.
Well, and hopefully Colsey can be healthy soon and get him out there too.
That's another one. And it was injury. Then I don't know if they thought he was ready. I don't know. But you don't have the luxury to be picky right now because you're in a bad spot.
Right.
So I don't know, man.
Very limited number.
Chancey Stuckey, that poor guy, he needs a raise. He got the toughest job on this staff. He really does. He truly does. I mean, he's got a lot of teaching to do and a lot of recruiting and a lot of development because that room is a mess. It just is. It's a freaking mess.
Yes, it is. It is.
Man. So I don't know. So try and enjoy the day. I'm going to try and watch the other games, maybe have myself a drink there and relax and ease into this. And I expect us to play good. And I'm going to be very upset and have a lot of very difficult questions for a lot of people if we don't. That's the deal.
Yeah, I hear you there. I just saw on ESPN, or BSPN as you call them, we're a 4-point favorite in this game. I'm not a gambling person, but just for our well-being, let's cover this spread by a landslide.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at too. It was interesting. I believe that spread opened at like 3 points the other way. So it's almost moved a full touchdown. So apparently we're not the only ones believing in Notre Dame, or it's all the Notre Dame people in Vegas thinking about Vegas. So everybody's putting money on Notre Dame. It could just be that Vegas is in all Notre Dame's people's minds and they want a piece of it.
That'd be fine.
As long as they win it, it'll be fine. Do you have a problem with the uniforms or do you like the white? Let's finish with that. What about the Notre Dame style and flair? I don't care what you wear, you win the game. That's my rule.
I'm fine with these uniforms.
You know what? I don't think they're that bad. I see some people that don't like them. White and kind of that like lighter gold. I mean, it's not that gaudy. It's kind of slick because it's white. I've seen worse. But if you win, I don't care if you wear the kilts of the Irish Guard out there as long as you win.
Well, of all things, too, to what you just said, we're playing in the Raider Stadium. You know what Al Davis's old saying was, right?
Just win, baby.
Just win, baby.
I think we get it done. I think this team is finding itself. I think it's finding its legs underneath itself. I think things have stabilized. The quarterback room stabilized. I'm not saying it's great. I'm not saying it's exceptional or elite, but it has stabilized, and that is all you can ask for when you're in Notre Dame's position. I expect a good effort tonight. I really do, and I'm going to be very disappointed. You cannot afford to not have one. I need to see it. Play good.
Absolutely. I mean, you win tonight, you should be 6-2 going into Clemson, the Clemson game, I mean, and it would be great to have that.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, man. You would then build the Clemson game to be as physically big as it could possibly be, given how we started the year. So that's the roadmap. But enjoy the game today, man. Take care. Have a cold one. Watch the BYU Bengal in a little bit, and enjoy yourself a good fall Saturday.
Thank you. Sounds good. And let's meet up next Saturday, John.
Beautiful. When I get off here, I got your number. I'll just send you a text and let you know it's me, and then that's how we'll link up.
That sounds good.
Beautiful, man. I can't wait to meet. Have a good one. We'll see you. Go Irish.
Bye.
Okay. Anybody else? Phone lines, jump in. 312-900-8815. I got a couple of these chats I wanted to get to. If you're here, thumbs up, helps in the chats. Appreciate it. Huffer Billy, good to see you here. Let's see. Vegas crowdsourcing knows how to make money, but ND wins. ND not as bad as folks think. I mean, I appreciate that. I don't think they're bad. They're just not really good, if that makes sense. Oh, like, isn't that how you would see Notre Dame? I don't look at them and like, oh, they're terrible. We're just not great either. We're just not great either. And the other thing is, too, let me ask this big picture. Back in the summer, people were saying, I was saying it wouldn't surprise me if Notre Dame lost a dumb game. I wouldn't expect them to lose, or they shouldn't lose. Even in the summer, go back to my videos, and I was saying, when you have all these changes with a totally new staff, new quarterback, all the moving parts, I was saying it wouldn't shock me if we dropped the dumb game that I'm not expecting us to drop. Ends up that it happened, and it was an injury, and it all compiled. If you could end up running this string out, 6-2 against Clemson, as good as you can ask. 91 degrees, 91 out. Somebody told me it was 45 out and they couldn't go to the pool in Vegas. Is it 91 or 45? Or is it 45 and it's going to double to 90? Which is it? You guys are building a better program, one step back, two steps forward. That is exactly how I see this. Brandon, good to see you in here. Brandon Fry, 4221 ND. Let's go. Good to see you, Brandon. Hope you're having a better end of the week than you were earlier in the week, man. Huffer Billy sees it the way I do, and it's easy to see this from the outside. This is a Clemson guy who sees it. It's easy to take a look at this when it isn't you and your emotions and you're separated from it. I am more than willing to take one step back this year for the possibility that Freeman has us taken 2 or 3 or 4 steps forward in the upcoming years, in a way where there was no elite light at the end of the Brian Kelly tunnel, no matter how many regular season games the guy won. No matter how many regular season games the guy won. I saw enough that I believe in my heart he was never winning a playoff game or a championship, no matter what. 12-0 regular season, 11-1. I don't care. I've seen enough to know when it really comes to that moment, Kelly was never going to recruit and develop the way you needed to win those playoff games. Seen enough. Don't need to see any more to know that. I don't care if he goes 12-0. Not winning against the best teams we play in that moment, the way he was recruiting and developing at Notre Dame. I knew that. So, wow, I wouldn't be mad we lost to Marshall, but I also know we have no chance of winning a big-time game on the back end either. All right? And I don't like that. It wasn't good enough. You know who else didn't like it? Kelly. Kelly didn't like it. So he left. And you know what else is funny, too? What was Kelly's big complaint? Well, they're not giving me the facility. 734, you're up next on the phones, by the way. Kelly's big thing was, Notre Dame's not helping me with infrastructure and I need things and they're not building this building or anything. And I've been waiting and he's asking Jack and him had friction because he wouldn't get the funds to build the new football building and all that. I read last night, Kelly's donating his own money to build one at LSU. They're trying to build something new. Kelly pitched in $1 million of his own dollars to help the cause. I didn't see that $1 million going in the collection envelope basket at Notre Dame. So I don't know what's going on. But I'm all in on the one step back, 2 steps forward. Now, in an ideal world, you could take no steps back, pick up where Kelly left off, and then take it to the next level. In an ideal world, that is what would have happened. No drop off, and you just keep going up. But the issue is, The way Kelly left that roster made it impossible to keep going up. Made it impossible to keep going up in a straight trajectory. And Kelly damn well knew it. You don't think Kelly knew? Look at the mess I got myself into here. You don't think he knew that? He knew the mess he made, and he got out of Dodge so he didn't have to deal with it. I'm all in on the 1 step back, 2 steps forward. Hope. What was that movie? The tunnel movie, Shawshank. Didn't they say something like hope is all you got, or hope is what keeps you living, or something? At least there may be a light at the end of this tunnel, because Marcus recruits and develops different. There was no light at the end of Brian Kelly's tunnel. It didn't exist. 734, you're coming up. Jacob Saylor, $5. I appreciate the donation. Thank you very much. Ready for the LSU reality check first. Yeah, I'm ready for a reality check every time Kelly's in charge. Did you also see Notre Dame's second in strength of schedule? And third, any ND receiver balling out today? Probably not. Just being honest, probably not. But if you had to pick one, you're going to pick Styles, right? It's the only guy you have any trust or reliability in whatsoever. So you're going to pick that if there is one. I actually saw yesterday we were number 1 in strength of schedule. So 1 or 2, but that's the other thing, folks. Notre Dame don't play nobody. Notre Dame overranked. The schedule's soft. I hear it every day. And so look at what you got. You have Michigan with the worst strength of schedule, 131 out of 131, the easiest schedule in college football. And they are undefeated, flying high, feeling good, feeling like recruiting's probably going to get better because of it. Notre Dame, toughest schedule, and we're struggling. I'm not saying it's because of that. I'm just saying it's part of it. It's all connected. You could go Kent's Ohio State route if Kent's still in here. How in the hell did they get the first 5 games at home and 8 home games overall? How is that even possible? That Ohio State's first 5 games are all at home and they have 8 home games overall. I don't even understand how that's real life. I don't get it. I just think that's rough. All right, let's go to 734. Tell me some more. Good morning.
Good morning, John. How are you today?
I'm doing very well. What's on your mind today? If you're a Notre Dame guy, we got a long time to wait. What's on your mind today?
Brother, hey, listen, I'll tell you something, man. I'm here in Flint, Michigan. Myself and my Michigan buddy at the Michigan game, that monsoon a couple years ago.
Oh, my God. God bless you.
Yeah.
That was one of the worst nights of my life. That is one of the worst nights I've ever had because of who it is and the way it looked. We got bullied, and I'm still not over it.
I'm not either, Johnny. Especially coming off a bye week. I actually made a video leaving. That was the first time in my life, John, been a Notre Dame fan since 79. My dad took me to a game, and I've been hooked ever since. But yeah, man, it was a nightmare coming off a bye week. And, that performance we gave was just, a typical Kelly. But I was going
to say, that's what you got there. Big game, Brian. Playoff on the line. That's what it is. It's big game, Brian. Playoff on the line.
Exactly.
Your hated rivalry in the same geographical region. All this history. You're going to their place at night. It's raining. It should be a physical. And then you didn't even show up. The game was lost before it started. The game was lost before it started. We looked like we had no interest in being there. You know what, man?
No interest.
Good luck in the swamp.
Exactly.
I'm glad I'm done with all of it. I'm glad I'm done with all of it. I'm glad. I don't care if he ends up winning something there or not. I'm just done with it.
Oh, yeah. Definitely ran its course. But, and let's get back on task, big guy. Hey, I'm so stoked for today. I'm looking for a huge win for the Irish. I think we're trending up. The offense looked, I'll tell you something, man, that nobody's really touched on. The way we called plays when Buckner was at the helm, it was almost, John, like the coordinators and Marcus Freeman, they didn't believe in him. the play call and the QB runs, we never went vertical. The passing game was just pedestrian. I understand the receivers can't give you separation, but we didn't even call the plays to, put them in a successful, position, because I believe they didn't believe that he could get the job done.
I struggle with this, and the other, that's a part of it. But let me ask you if this rings true to you at all as well. I feel like the offense they ran out there for Ohio State and then Marshall with Buckner, I feel like it was an offense structure that didn't feature what he's best at. They wanted to make him a drop back pocket passer. He had 50 passes before the injury, I think. 47 dropbacks or something, and then 3 on the move. Like he is more comfortable on the move. But they tried to box him in this pocket and probably thought they'd be able to run the ball better earlier than they did. But I didn't even feel like before his injury, the offense was set up for him to succeed. I didn't feel that. I don't think it suited his strengths.
100%. I'm right there with you. When I was, checking them out, man, I'm one of those weirdos. When we're recruiting kids, I go watch their highlight tapes. I, do all my homework. And you're right. All his success was on the move, moving pockets, short rolls, any sprint outs, anything, the RPOs and stuff like that. And like you said, they wanted him to sit in the pocket and, go through his progression. He's not that type of quarterback. You're exactly right, John.
Yeah, I just didn't think that was a good use of his skill set. And not only his skill set, but he's a young guy. You got to make sure he has confidence. And so I would have structured it more with him on the move to let him ease into that. He was a lot better at just reacting and making a play than sitting back there reading and thinking. So I disagreed with the philosophical way they structured it to begin with. And then the other complication is it's nobody's fault. Buckner's development is like 3 years behind where it should be physically because of injury, because of COVID, and then because of Cone last year. And now this year, the guy's going to be like 30 and his third year at Notre Dame. We keep losing years, bro. We keep losing years. Like, where are they going? We just keep losing them.
You're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
How does Notre Dame figure their way out of this quarterback mess? That's the number one thing to me is Notre Dame needs an elite level quarterback to hitch the beginning of the Freeman era to and really take it off. How does this get straightened out? Do you wait a couple years until Carr, or is there any way to find some stability and high-end reliability before that point? How would you do that? The quarterback room. What would you do?
We've got two options, John. We can because we're Notre Dame. Unfortunately, we have these academic restrictions, stuff like that. So it's hard to get transfers in.
Yep, that's an issue. Hey, man, hold on a second.
Yeah,
that's an issue.
Sure,
that's an issue because when you look at like Kelly at LSU, when you look at Riley at USC, those guys flipped like 24 guys from other schools in right away. 24 guys right away. And, reading, forget it. Writing, forget it. But if you're fast and you could get them in right away, Notre Dame not being able to do that puts a lot more pressure on recruiting that's already harder at Notre Dame. You got to be better at recruiting because you can't just go fill your gaps with any fast guy. It's more complicated. Notre Dame has to be better in recruiting because of that. And they're going to have to find a way to make it easier for guys to transfer in, or this is going to slip away from them and be real hard to catch up. I do feel that. You got to find a way to allow more of them guys in.
100% agree. I mean, we're going to keep bailing water at the quarterback position because Kelly, like you touched on a million times, was supposed to be this quarterback guru and, all this stuff. And we're going to, the offense won't be an issue. And man, not one top tier quarterback.
Now wait, let me ask this. Is it possible next year, let's say they still struggle with the 23 quarterback recruiting dynamic like it is right now, unsettled. Do you think it's possible they bring in a transfer quarterback next year? Because you're looking at Buckner, who has to start the development and health thing all over again. and then you have Pine, and you have Angeli. Did they go get the Michigan backup guy that was interested in Notre Dame before Michigan? Does that mess up what's going on in that room, or how do you process this moving on?
I would definitely take a flyer on McNamara. If he wants to come here, I'm down. That guy's an excellent game manager. He's a winner, obviously. I mean, he beat Ohio State. Michigan hadn't beat Ohio State in 100 years. So here's a solid quarterback. I would love to take a flyer on him. I'd love to get him in. He'd be a perfect bridge to, Carr coming in 24. And I'll tell you something else, John, speaking of quarterbacks. I'm up here in Michigan. We had Dante Moore. We had him.
Yep.
That NIL.
Yep.
That NIL destroyed it.
Yep.
I'm here. I was driving down and watching him play. I've talked to the kid a couple times. I'm that goofy guy in the Notre Dame tracksuit at every game. I'm down there talking to him, and he was all in, man. But that bag of cash, and all that.
It's
Nike
really hard to
swag,
take, man. That's really hard to take when you know how hard it is to recruit to Notre Dame, and you had a guy like that seemingly was bought in.
John.
And you know what else? Keeley too. I don't know how much NIL is involved, but I got a feeling if it wasn't a thing, both them guys probably in the class.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. Now, I'm anxious to see what Angeli brings to the table. Obviously we're going to have to wait to the spring game, further his development, because all he's been doing is running scout team quarterback. For us. So, I mean, he's nowhere near ready to play at this point. But, it's going to be tough, man. We're going to have to dip into the portal, or see what graduate transfers there, take a serious run at McNamara. I mean, it's a nightmare quarterback.
Well,
but
that's what I wanted to say to you. You talking about you could do this, you could get McNamara. We did the cone thing. Everybody here needs to understand, this is not how you normally should operate. This is patchwork to try and bridge you to what it should be, which is actual recruiting and development of an elite ceiling athlete long term. Notre Dame's horrible at that. Horrible.
And we've been horrible. We've been horrible at it. Again, I hate to kick a dead horse, but Kelly was supposed to be this great quarterback whisperer, and we didn't get one top tier quarterback.
Here's the other problem. Here's the other problem.
Okay.
The other thing is we're talking about the wide receiver dynamic, and then it's like, well, if I'm these high school quarterbacks, how excited am I to get to Notre Dame to throw to that? Because I don't see anybody getting
right.
Even if you find a quarterback that buys into I'm going to be the next Joe Montana face of Notre Dame, whatever. It's a tough look to sell when it's who am I going to be throwing the ball to? And you don't see anything happening you can rely on. It's all a mess, and you got to find your way out of it to get this right.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it, again, that's a perfect point you bring up, because, I'm a former quarterback. And the windows, and God bless you, Pine, because the windows he's throwing into, it's like a needle through a little, string through a needle. You know what I'm saying? And I think the kid's doing a great job. I think he's going to continue to do a great job. And I look for.
But listen, for what Drew Pine is physically, for what he physically is and the gifts he has, you can't ask for anything more than how he played against North Carolina. That's all you need from Drew Pine. That is not Notre Dame's quarterback in 4 years under Freeman when you theoretically think you're a playoff caliber. No. But for this dynamic, he's doing exactly what we need him to do. Play within himself, distribute, be smart with the ball. Right. Be smart with the ball. Get it where you need to get it. There's going to be a handful of plays tonight, either with his legs or with his arm, where he's going to have to make that play. But he knows what he is, and play inside himself, and he'll be fine tonight.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I look for a big win for the Irish. I think, everybody's like, oh, they're going out to Vegas and blah, blah, everybody. No, this is a business trip. Freeman's not messing around, man. He had those kids on a tight schedule. We know what we're playing for. Everybody's, your season's over. Baloney. We still got an opportunity to do some great things. Potentially win a 10-win season, get to a decent. I know it's not sexy, but man, we might as well salvage what we can salvage.
And the other thing is, man, there's no such thing as successfully tanking in college football. Like, this isn't the NFL where you're out of it and then you play all the young guys, burn it down, get a high draft pick. If you have a bad year, you don't get the first recruit pick next year. That's not how it goes. So that's why you can't just play all young guys. That's why you can't just empty out the benches and play all the young guys. You have to be able to have this thing in line enough that the recruiting doesn't all ravel away from you. And you're already teetering on that level with 2 losses in 2 weeks. And so I can't get down with anybody who's like, well, the season's over. Who cares? What do you mean? It all matters. It all matters. Right. It all matters. I'm with you, man. I live and die with this team, brother. I'm with you. I mean, I've gone through just like you, man, the 07 season. It was me every week. Oh, man.
The 2016 season. There I was every week, looking like a guy in the dunce camp in the corner. But, hey, I'm looking forward to big things this season, John. We're trending up. We got a couple huge games. We got Clemson at home, SC. We just got to take care of business and keep getting better every week.
There you go, man. I really appreciate the call. Call anytime and enjoy the ball game.
Will do, brother.
Take care. And represent us in Michigan, all right? Don't let them drown you out. Be loud and proud up there, okay?
Oh, brother, you have no idea, my friend. I get
dude, you must get so much hate
in the bars and hang it up. And
you must get so much hate between Michigan and Michigan State and that state and the way those people are. How do you not get stuff thrown at you when you go to the store? Seriously.
I've been removed from places because I'm a passionate Irish fan, especially when I get a couple pints in me. And things have gotten pretty hairy up here, but always represent loud and proud, and I'll be loud and proud tonight, brother. Matter of fact, I'm starting my one-man tailgate here pretty soon, and we're gonna keep this party rolling.
Beautiful, man. Represent us up there. All right, you have a good one. Thanks for the call.
All right, brother.
Take care, man.
I'll check back in with you next show.
Beautiful. Yeah, be back Monday morning. We'll break it all down.
Perfect. Go Irish, baby.
Go Irish. Man, we got some good energy today from the folks. Who's a troll in the chat? People are saying. Mikey Poles. John, I'm in the middle of coaching athletes at a powerlifting meet. Wanted to stop in and say hi. I appreciate that. And you know what else, Mikey? You know what else that's good for? You're busy today and it's keeping you busy and your mind off Notre Dame. You could go do some stuff. Sometimes I do that too. When I was a little younger, didn't have all the family obligations, kid obligations I have now. I used to golf on Saturday mornings. It was a beautiful escape. You could just go golf. You're in nature. I have my phone put away. I don't have my phone out when I'm golfing. That's not what that's for. I used to do that. And you could golf in the morning, do something on your own, competitive, get your mind off it. That's what I used to do. I don't know who's the troll. Is it James? James, are they saying you're the troll? Because James has been here a lot. And I think he is a troll, but I kind of like it. Hope all these ND fans don't lose all their money in Vegas. It's always a risk. Anybody could lose their money in Vegas. All right. I highlighted some chats that I wanted to get to. All right. James, here's what I'm going to say to this. Pine is not garbage, but Pine is not a frontline starter that is going to win Notre Dame a playoff game or the biggest game on the schedule against a great team. That's my opinion. That's my honest opinion. He is not garbage, but he is not the quarterback that's going to take Notre Dame where they're going to be in the year they're going to be good again, if that makes sense. He's an undersized backup. So I don't know how much I can expect, James. And the other thing is, if you want to say, well, All right, John, I get it. He's the backup and he's undersized. What should I expect? Fine. But if you wanted to say, why is Notre Dame recruiting an undersized kid like that anyways to even have in there? Now I can get down with you. Now I can get down with you where it's like, man, Pine seems pretty undersized. All right, go get a Drake May guy then. 6'5", 250, whatever, a beast. Like, so he's not garbage, but he's a backup and undersized for a reason. And he is not going to be the quarterback when Notre Dame's trying to win playoff games. This is a frustrating patchwork situation right now. That's what we're in. A frustrating patchwork situation. Okay. Another one I have highlighted. Matthew says Notre Dame standards will not allow an elite football team. It's a problem. It's a problem. For Notre Dame to field an elite football team under the current academic and test rigors, they got to be really, really good. You got to recruit great, have good injury luck. It all comes together, all units peaking at the same time. It is harder for Notre Dame. You have to be more perfect. More things have to line up and go your way. Notre Dame does not have as much leeway as some other schools do with all this stuff they do. We just don't. We don't have it. We don't have it. Okay? Drunk Vigo, take my guests out fishing. That's another relaxing way to start the day. I used to do some of that too. I'd be up all night anyway, so I'd get up early in the morning, go to the suburbs and bass fish before the sun came up on a Saturday just because I was up. Nothing else to do. Keep my mind off it. I know it surprises some of you that my preppy self here bass fishes a little bit. Whopper plopper, baby. Skip that thing on top. Bam. I love the Whopper plopper. Any of you guys down south, you might know what that is. Works for me. I love them things. Huffer Billy. This is a good one. I think we have another call from Vegas. 219, I see ya. Oh, looks like they dropped off. 219, call back. I see you dropped off. Hop back in. Huffer Billy says, Kelly's above average, not elite. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Agree. Like, I don't have anything to argue with or say back to that. That's exactly how I see it. Kelly is above average. I've never said Kelly's a bad coach. Kelly's awful. No. Kelly is a way above average coach with a lot of experience. He did a lot of good things. Way above average, not elite. That is the perfect way to put it. And that's how I see it. I think that's fair. Now, he has easier access to more elite talent where he is now than where he's been. There's no doubt about that. Can that translate to him getting over the hump? I still have my doubts. But there is no doubt he has access to better talent more easily in his new job. That part's true. Line jumper. I can't stand Michigan because of the creepy fans. Some of those people, I am convinced that inbreeding's normal among that fan base. Like, do you see me laughing? I have legitimate concerns for their health and well-being. I think that's something that goes on there a lot in that fan base, is that they reproduce with their own siblings and relatives. And I think that's how you trace this down to end up with so many of them that look like mutants, or it's obvious they're not playing with the full deck. I am not laughing. This is not me joking. I'm dead serious. There's something wrong with them people. There's something wrong with those people. It ain't right. Something's wrong. Telling you. ND Gal. Here's the thing about ND Gal. ND Gal has certain things that bother her, and they bother me too. Every time she brings something up when she calls, it's something that's on my mind that I'm mad about. If the refs call holding even 50% of the time BYU holds, ND wins. People don't like calling that a holding, especially against Notre Dame. Man, there was a lot of... I ain't trying to be the guy. I'm not trying to be the guy that's like building excuses. There were a lot of holds in the Notre Dame Ohio State game not called on some of the biggest plays of the game. Biggest plays of the game. Don't call holding. They just don't like calling it. What else do we have here? Matthew, these are the best Shamrock jerseys. The rest were poop. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to say they're the best. I just think white's pretty neutral. Like, it's hard to be overly gaudy when it's white with a gold trim. Like, I guess I'm saying it's hard to offend people's sensibilities with the color scheme when it's white and gold overall. Yeah, I mean, I guess you can't. You're going to win some and lose some with these refs. I'm still confused about that Cal game, and they called on the kick, and the guy was nowhere near it, and they had the wrong number. I don't understand. And then that guy was supposed to be in trouble, but then sometime he came back. I don't know. I don't know. It is legal to marry your cousin in Michigan. I believe that. I believe I've seen that happen. Yeah, for sure. Ooh, that's a good question. Why are we wearing an away game color when it's technically a home game? Under Armour. That's why, because they wanted to do this design and they wanted it to be white this year. There's the answer. Money. Money. That's the answer, I guess. Matthew, I see that in the chat and it's funny, but I'm not going to post it just because I have things I need to look out for now. But just know I see that and it's very, very funny. Okay. Very, very funny. I like that. Here we go. Andrew, I think Notre Dame standards are actually affecting transfer options more than recruiting. It's a big deal. It's a problem. Notre Dame's got to find a way to evolve in that a little bit. You need just a little bit more flexibility. Like, you need to find a path for some of these guys that are at these other places to be able to get in. Like, a little leeway, or like find a program where they could, if the credits don't directly transfer, find a way they could test, and you're going to have to do something. Because you look at it, folks, NIL, kind of hard to say it's not working against Notre Dame. Transfer portal, kind of hard to say that's not working against Notre Dame. Like, these are issues, man. These are issues. And other schools are able to take advantage. And Notre Dame can get left behind if they don't do a better job there. Andrew says he disagrees, thinks Kelly's elite, just not a dog recruiter. He wasn't a dog recruiter at Notre Dame, that's for sure. The guy didn't even want to get on the private jet and go do it. So I can't help you if that's where you're at. I think it's going to be a good weather day. Merry weather, if you will. That is very well done. That is very well done. I like that creativity. I like it. The transfer portal is not the answer. Recruit better. Why does it have to be one or the other? Do both. I'm not asking for one or the other. Do both. Do both. Like, it's not an and or answer. You recruit hard and then you go to the portal to fill in your gaps where it's, 5 linebackers got injured and they tore their ACL and then they leave the program, whatever. That's where this comes into play. Quickly fill in a gap. Notre Dame's wide receiver room would be a lot different probably if you could just go pull a bunch of these guys in and throw it to them. But it isn't either recruit elitely or hit the portal. It's do both at the same exact time. Here we go. Do you think USC's rank is an accurate representation of how good they are? RC, here's the deal. I think they are clearly being artificially inflated due to the teams and the games they have played so far, and due to the media hype surrounding them this year and the excitement of the new operation. So I do believe they are overrated right now, but I also think they're good and they're on the rise. Like, both of those are totally true at the same time. So I do think they're getting better. I do think that offense is electric. I also think they're overinflated because of the schedule they played and who it's been so far. And I also think that up front, USC has a long way to go. They have a long way to go up front on both sides of the ball. They just do. Exciting 7-on-7 team. Gonna make my hair fall out trying to defend them. All of that's true. All of that's true. But they're also being extra inflated by what the Pac-12 is and or isn't. And that's a reality that has to be acknowledged as well. Oh, my brother's in the chat. Andrew, what's up? Good morning in Florida, man. I hope everybody's building back up after the nightmare you all had down there. What does my brother have to say? Even if you get the players outside the current academic standard, how do you prevent them from getting overwhelmed once in class unless you set up a program? Brian Kelly went down that path. If you remember kind of that mid-second iteration of Brian Kelly after 2012, I think he then realized he needed to up the talent. And then Brian Kelly pushed for some flexibility, got it, got guys in there. And then we had a few of those off seasons where guys were getting in trouble, getting arrested. You had problems. The academic issue happened with the tutor. I think Kelly tried doing this, but he didn't vet the right guys, which is ironic given that his whole thing was RKGs. Kelly got the flexibility, got some of those guys in, but they were not RKGs. The schoolwork overwhelmed them. They got in trouble behind the scenes, and then they were out. So it totally burned them doing it that way. I think Kelly did get that flexibility, but he didn't pick the right guys, and it burned him. If you're trying to go down that path, it has to be the Tony Rice path of saying to the guy, we're going to give you an opportunity to change your life for the better, but you got to be on the straight and narrow and put in the extra work. Tony Rice did it. These guys didn't. It's unfortunate. I mean, you want to talk about overinflated. You have no idea how totally frustrating it is for me to look at Michigan with the weakest strength of schedule in the entire country and to look at them be undefeated, riding high, all the hot press. You could tell recruits were undefeated, were great. It's beyond frustrating that these teams, a quarter of their season, they schedule nobody. 3, 6, 9, 12 games. Michigan scheduling 3 absolute nothings, a whole quarter of their season, which is already the shortest regular season in big-time sports. They play nobody, and there's no consequences. There's no, we're dinging you in the ratings for that. There is no, you know what, Michigan, you're undefeated, but it was Hawaii and UConn and Central Ann Arbor Junior High School. We're ranking you out of the top 10 till you prove against decent team. There is none of that. There is none of that. So they are being 100% rewarded for scheduling cowardice, and it's everything wrong with football. It's everything wrong with football. They are absolutely being rewarded for cowardice scheduling, and I hate it. I used to at least think maybe Michigan State was a real team and could hang with them and all that. No, I don't even see that this year. So I think the real first game's probably going to be Ohio State at the end of the year. You still want to sell me Penn State's elite every year? That's another one. Every year I feel like Penn State's overinflated too, and then I think they can hold up, and then they disappoint every year. Every year. So I don't know. It's frustrating, man. OSU will kick their ass. Well, I thought that last year, and they let the entire world down. Like, that's what it takes to get John in a position to pull for Ohio State, is to have Michigan involved. Jeez. But I thought that last year too. Michigan hurt their fans with that non-con. Imagine how much money was wasted on those glorified scrimmages. But Andrew, let me ask this. I kind of agree with you, but at the same time, they're undefeated and ranked really high, and everybody's in a good mood. Like, if you were a fan and you went to one of those games and they blew them out, it's not like you're leaving miserable. You didn't lose. So they're undefeated, riding a high and all that. So, I mean, I don't know how bad they feel. I mean, you could call it losing. You didn't see a close game, but you also didn't see a loss. Imagine the excitement difference for the Notre Dame game tonight if we were undefeated or even only had one loss. Like, it's unbelievably annoying. And the frustration is people are like, well, just wait till later in the year and, Ohio State will get them and all that. But there's value in winning so much now. You're building that confidence. You're building that momentum. You can recruit off it. It all helps. And they're doing all that now. They're getting to do it all now. Man, that UConn and Hawaii, and I just don't like it. And D-Gal, that's kind of how I think. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're not going to be penalized for playing easy teams, then you may as well ride it and be undefeated and think you're going to beat everybody and feel great. Why not, man? Nick, that Marshall game I went to pissed me off. You think? Unbelievable. Unbelievably frustrating. The football team generates a lot of money for the university. I'm not sure if that's Notre Dame's or Michigan's or any of them. But if it's any of those brand names, yeah, they do. Notre Dame 21-64. Thanks for being here. If we could show consistent North Carolina play over the next few weeks, I think 10-2 is a real possibility. Not predicting it, but it's a possibility. It's kind of wild to think about, isn't it? Because what you're looking at then is for 10-2 to be in play, that means you're literally ripping off all these wins in a row after Marshall. Can you even imagine what a good run that would be? And then that also means you're probably wiping out 2 top 5 teams in Clemson and then USC. Like, that would be an unbelievably remarkable turnaround, especially with the wide receiver issues that aren't getting better and your backup quarterback. If you somehow rip that off, it'd be an unbelievable run. Absolutely unbelievable. Now, do I think it's more likely you would split USC and Clemson? I think that's a lot more realistic. Just on a reality based, I could see dropping to Clemson, beating USC as a very realistic scenario. You take care of business, everything else the right way. That's 9-3. I mean, it's not 12-0, but 9-3 with that injury at the quarterback. I think most people might be able to find a way to live with that. Not love it, but live with it, understanding the idea of that 1 step forward, 1 step back, 2 step forward type deal. I really do think that's in play. I do. I think that's in play. Overinflated Michigan. Hey, man, there's no consequence. That's the thing. There's no consequence. No one says Michigan hasn't played anybody, therefore you can't rank them this high because it's not a fair gauge. No, that doesn't exist. Andrew, thanks for the super chat. $4.99. Notre Dame 28, BYU 20. Official prediction. What did I put in the USA Today Fighting Irish Wire? I think I put in 35-28, I think is what I put in my official pick on the Irish website, the Fighting Irish Wire website. Pretty sure that was it. 35-28, somewhere like that. I think Notre Dame gets up in the 30s. I do. I believe that. So that was my official prediction. And I think Notre Dame can play physical, man. I do. That's the other thing. Thanks for the donation, Andrew. Really means the world to me. Pays for the phone lines. Appreciate that. $4.99, buddy. Nick Dean, what about the playoff committee? Here's what I've decided about the playoff committee. If you're a Power 5 team, okay, 35-27 was my pick. So pretty close there. I knew it was in the ballpark. That's how much I have going on in my mind. I didn't even forget what I put. 35-27 is what I had officially on the record, guys. There's no way to undo that. Once it goes on the website and it's out there on USA Today, it's out there. So sometimes I struggle with those, picking the scores. You don't want to look like a fool. So we'll see how close I am. I picked every game right except for Marshall, obviously, because I don't think there was one person in the world that put in a pick for Marshall. So I'm devastated I have that blemish on my USA Today pick record. But who in the hell was going to pick Marshall? Still don't like it. Ugh. Roy, boy. Can't wait for CJ to get here. I'm telling you what, man. Roy, you watch that guy whip the ball around. It was beautiful. Watch this guy. I saw some clips earlier this week from camp. Zing, zing, lasers, boo, lasers, just shooting the ball out there. And then when it requires a touch pass, bloop, right over the top. I love it. The problem is, realistically, feasibly speaking, how many years is it going to be before I see CJ Carr out there throwing passes? How many? All of next year, still in high school, unless the reclassifying thing is still a thing, but I haven't been hearing about it. So what do you got? Next year, all of high school. Then the year after that, he would be a freshman. Is he going to be developed and mature enough to challenge and play as a freshman? I don't know. If he doesn't, then that's another year. We're looking at maybe 3 years out from CJ Carr even. I might be in the ground for 3 years by that time. That's the problem with this Notre Dame quarterback thing. It's always the next year. It's always the next year. It's always the next year. Then it's always the next guy, and it's always the next guy. None of it ever comes true, though. That's the issue. And the 2 times I could think of that Notre Dame did have these guys coming back off decent years, what did you have? You had Deshaun Kaiser getting worse the longer he played for Kelly. And then you had Ian Book also statistically decline in his second year as a starter under Kelly. Give me a break. The 2 best quarterback runs Kelly had, both those guys got worse the longer they played for him. That's your quarterback guru. That's your guy. I was told that was the guy. And the 2 best he had, 1 year to the next, they got worse. They didn't get better. They got worse. I can't help you. Nick, this is going to be an issue. I have had a lot of people bring this up and say this might be it for Buckner. The frustrations, the injuries, sitting behind Cone, not getting a chance to take the jobber, all of that. This quarterback thing, man, you got to get it right, but it's complicated. If Buckner stays or not, I don't know. Is Notre Dame looking at a transfer quarterback to bring in or not? I don't know. What do you do? What do you do if Drew Pine plays good the rest of the year? Like, is he the default starter? Because that's not the long-term elite solution either. You got to get it figured out. In a perfect world, it would have been Dante. You could throw him out there early and let his athleticism develop himself. Ain't going to happen. This is a really good question, RC. In a hypothetical world, would you like a Big Ten move? My heart always values Notre Dame's independence just because of our history and what it's always been. However, if financially this all gets to a point where Notre Dame cannot compete as an independent because they're making half the money the other teams are to be able to invest in their program, I am a lot more happy with the Big Ten arrangement than I would have been a bunch of years ago. The money's going to be right. I like the idea of the Big Ten with USC in it. That's a huge deal. Huge deal to me. It maintains that West Coast pathway. It also would maintain Notre Dame's total coast-to-coast presence. You have Notre Dame in the Midwest, right? And then the Midwestern Big Ten teams. Think about it. Purdue, Wisconsin, Northwestern, Michigan, Michigan State, all right there. Ohio State, all right there. Beautiful. You go out east, you have the Penn State. I'm not even going to acknowledge Rutgers and Maryland, but you have Penn State. And then you got the two schools out west in California. I like that. So if Notre Dame had to make a move to the Big Ten and they're able to make $110 million a year, and you're able to, Indiana as well, too. You're able to make all that money, still have your coast to coast, all of that in play, playoff access. If it came down to having to join full time, I'd rather it be the Big Ten than the ACC, and it isn't even close. It isn't even close. Not even close. Yeah. James says Maryland's better than Marshall. It's a fair point. Fair point. I mean, I'm not going to deny it. It's a fair point. But that still doesn't mean I think Maryland's awesome in the Big Ten. I just don't. If we had to join full time, Big Ten 100% over the ACC. 100%. Think about Notre Dame's history. You would be able to crank back up a Penn State rivalry, create two in-state ones again if you wanted to do Indiana and Purdue. And then you have Michigan, Michigan State, Ohio State, Wisconsin. Like, man, that could be a fun schedule. Week after week, that would be a fun schedule. Andrew says, what about the SEC? I just think academically and research-wise, academically, Notre Dame lines up with the ACC and Big Ten so much more philosophically. I just think that's where it's going to be. Also, geographically, that places Notre Dame in one spot with not a lot of flexibility. Notre Dame's ability to recruit nationally is very important, and they don't want to lose it. And if you're just stuck all down here, I think that could be an issue too. But man, the rivalry games in that Big Ten, it would be like almost all of those games would be a big deal. And then follow me here. The one that would be one of the least big deals, which would be Illinois, who, by the way, are playing better under Brett, by the way. The one game I would not care about the most, probably Notre Dame, Illinois. I might like, because if it's at Illinois, all I got to do is drive south, and it's easier for me to get to than from here to Notre Dame. From where I live in South Chicago, burbs, a lot easier for me to just hit 57 and head south. So I don't know. Yeah, the Notre Dame is in the ACC for all other sports. I just think football's the winner. Football's the winner. And I think that USC move to the Big Ten is a big damn deal. I think it's a big deal. I think, man, that is a move that had a lot of Notre Dame people that were staunchly against this no matter what, rethinking their position a little bit. The USC thing is just a big deal. That's correct. I believe we're Big Ten for hockey. So I don't know. But all right, folks, it's almost 11. We've had a good morning. I thank you all for being here. I thank the callers, everybody who donated. Give the video a thumbs up before you guys leave. I appreciate it. People have been asking. Merch coming out soon. The other thing is, a bunch of people reached out to me and said, I don't understand this super chat stuff, what that means. How do we donate? I'm putting together Patreon as well. And with Patreon, we're going to have extra features, extra content you can only get if you're a Patreon member. A lot of people have been asking for other ways to contribute, and I'm working on them. And I really appreciate you guys asking for ways to help out. You guys are just nice. Like, I don't expect anybody to give me money for doing this. People that donate, it really means a lot. I hope you guys realize, even if it's $2 or $5, how much that means that you guys value this enough to do that with your hard-earned money means a lot to me. Appreciate it. James, you always bring up difficult things. Picked Marshall to beat Notre Dame, and I gave you a hard time, and then it happened. And then he comes through at the end and says, good luck tonight. So, James, I appreciate you. Adam, thanks a lot. Thanking me for the passion. Appreciate it. Jaded, good to see you. And then I'll put out a post-game show sometime tomorrow. And then Monday, we'll review it live. Everybody call me Monday. Let me know what you think. Enjoy the football, everybody. Take care.